Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Bartlett, Master Metaphysical Astrologer, and I'm here to present my August 2023 astrological forecast. Please note that dates and times are approximate. Please adjust for your place on Earth. And I use a fourth harmonic forecast, meaning that I focus on the conjunctions, oppositions, and squares. I'd like to thank Christine Cianci for her beautiful artwork for Astro Theater, or the images I use throughout the talk. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the challenging summer themes continue with yet more opening squares and peppered with a few oppositional energies. Mercury and Uranus go retrograde this month. We get Mars moving into Libra. So we have some changes going on this month. 1st of August opens us up with an opposition between Mercury and Saturn. This can be a little bit of a kind of a pokey energy. This is a mutable, the two mutable signs. Of course, we're looking at Mercury and Mars there in Virgo with their perfecting instruments, making sure that everything's just right. And there's Saturn over there hanging out with Neptune in Pisces, and wondering, what's going on? What was seated back in March 2022 in Aquarius when Mercury and Saturn were conjunct? If you look back to that time, you can see that a new theme will be coming in for now when this opposition occurs, brings into a full realization something that happened when Mercury was conjunct Saturn back in March 2022. On the 6th of August, we have an opening square between Jupiter and the Sun. These are in the fixed signs, of course. Jupiter has been with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. We have the Sun and Venus in the sign of Leo. This is, this can be usually what they say when it comes to Jupiter squares. They aren't really that painful, but Jupiter has a habit of making things bigger and making us have to pay attention to things that maybe we're not wanting to look at. Sun in Leo is can be egocentric, or maybe being self-centered rather than self-centering. And so this can be maybe an issue of being a little bit more grand than usual. Like to know, for you, whatever was going on around the 12th of April earlier this year, 2023, this would be a continuation of the theme. Stepping into a place of an opening square is a crisis in action. I consider it either 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or 1 step forward and 2 steps back. On the 9th of August, then the other 2 individuals involved in the Leo and Taurus signs are Venus and Uranus. They're in an opening square. And so again, we'd want to know, and that's, of course, Venus is in a retrograde motion at this point. And so when Uranus and Venus were conjunct, this was back in the 12th of June, 2020. And so this is now continuing on a theme. This can be shock and changes in our relationships, seeing maybe we need to have a new relationships to our loyalties, our friendships, our, whatever it is that we want to pay attention to and bring forth into our lives. Uranus and Taurus wants to create a new form of things that shocks up that normally stayed energy of Taurus. On the 13th of August, Venus in its retrograde motion moves into a conjunction with the Sun. This can be rather benefic. This would be a good time for doing some self-care and taking care of oneself, and attending to one's duties, and really building up on that relationship with oneself. This is a new cycle that will go on. So this is a new birth, a new conjunction, or like what we consider a new dark or a new moon phase when it comes to Venus and Sun. On the 15th of August, we have the Sun and Uranus scoring one another. This is going to probably feel a little bit more powerful than the previous Venus-Uranus square. But again, since it's an opening square, we're going to look at what was seated back on the 9th of May when the Sun and Uranus were conjunct one another in the sign of Taurus. This could be a shock or change that needs to occur. Some adjustments along the way are usually what happens when the opening square occurs. On the 22nd of August, we have another opening square involving the same signs. A lot of fixity going on this month, and a lot of disruption and upset. Jupiter and Venus are considered the malefic. So when we look at how these two operate with one another, it's a square, but this is usually Again, maybe relationship you're involved in isn't working out really well, or maybe the route in which you're going about your self-expression or dealing with your finances might be up for review. And this started when these two were conjunct one another was on the 3rd of March of this year, back in Aries. So we're seeing move from that cardinal sign into this fixed sign of like saying, okay, what is it that what is our intention here? What is it that we really want to set and create here? On the 22nd of August, we have an opposition between Mars and Neptune. Mars and Mercury are hanging out in the sign of Virgo, a very exacting or perfecting sign. Pisces doesn't really care about that, which is where Saturn and Neptune have been hanging out. Saturn is in a retrograde motion right now. But Neptune and Mars, when they first came together, they was on the 18th of May, 2022. So if you look back at that time, you can see maybe what was going on now, and now that there's a full realization of it. Mars and Neptune, I think, work really well in the sense of what is it we devote ourselves to in life? What is the deeper meaning focus that we want to bring forward? Especially when we think of Neptune in the sign of Pisces, which it rules, there's deep sense of spirituality, creativity, oneness. And that Mars in Virgo can get lost in the details at times. So it's kind of like helping to realign whatever the original intention was that was set back in May of 22. On the 23rd of August, we have a sign change. Sun is moving out of its own regular sign of the sign it rules of Leo and moving into the sign of Virgo, joining Mercury and Mars. This is going to be quite a strong focus of energy, getting things done. This would be really a great time of whatever those, if you didn't do your spring cleanup and you don't want to do it in the fall, probably be a really good time to get in there and get things done. Especially because on that same day, Mercury starts to go into retrograde motion. And so what I like to say always with the sign, with the planet Mercury doing retrograde, or actually any of the planets going retrograde, there's an issue of always thinking of any of the words that start with RE. So with Mercury in Virgo, it's kind of a little bit more challenging. Mercury rules Virgo and wants to really get things done, but this is a good time to review things, to rest. Self-care is also very, very important. As you can see, the background here for Virgo is a hospital room. If we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't, get the, say getting massages, if we can get them, or other kind of care, or just taking a walk, or anything we do that we need to do to take care of our health, both mental and physical, are really well indicated here. So starting on the 23rd of August, this would be a good time for initiating that. And the reason why, for those of you who are interested in why Mercury retrograde has the effect that it does nowadays, think about how many of our daily interactions involve electronic devices, from our cell phone to our computer to our iPad to our cars at this point. So when Mercury's in retrograde, especially in the sign of its rulership, Virgo or Gemini, we can find that there's a lot of things that just don't quite work the right way. And the point is not to get upset, but to understand and allow the time that's needed to get things done in the proper way. On the 27th of August, we have an opposition between the Sun and Saturn. They were in a conjunction back when the Sun was in Pisces with Saturn at 17th of February, 2023. So when you think back to that time, you can see maybe what was going on. And then on the 27th of August, this is going to be a time that whatever that energy that was going on will kind of come to full fruition. Again, it's like a full moon phase. We're able to see what it is that we've made. And there's quite a force. There are 5 planets involved in these 2 signs at this point. So we have the exacting, perfecting sign of Virgo in sharp contrast to the more dreamlike, peaceful energies of Pisces. And again, Saturn is still in its retrograde motion. On the 27th of August, we have Mars moving out of Virgo and moving into his dashing and debonair tuxedo in the sign of Libra. I think he probably likes getting things done a little bit more in the sign of Virgo, but in Libra, he has to be a little bit more compromising and understand that there are 2 ways of doing things. As we can see from the background here, there are in the seventh house, we think that the house of hidden enemies, so to speak, right? You think people are your friends, but they're, making deals where they're ready to stab you in the back at the same time. So Mars can get along with that. And Mars, as the ruler of Aries, is really not in his happy estate hanging out here in Libra, but it does again force him to have a different relationship and maybe not go directly to get things done. And then on the 28th of August, we have Uranus starting its retrograde motion. And that will be interesting to see how that works out as Uranus has been working hard to bring about new forms and new structures into our lives, as Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus. I'm offering astrological coaching, and my clients are really enjoying the results. They're enjoying being able to get in, focus on things, and get things done and achieve the goals they're seeking. If you're interested, please feel free to check out my website, coremichael.com. And I've started an astrological, beginning Astro 101 course. We just started with the planets this month, in the month of July, last month. And we're going to be going onto the signs. If you are interested, there's still room for a few people to join in. Please feel free to contact me at michael@coremichael.com. And thank you so much. Please feel free to hit the thumbs up. Please feel free to subscribe, share with your friends. I really appreciate the opportunity to present this to you each month. And thank you so much. And I wish you a wonderful month, and try to do your best. It's not going to be easy, but I think the best we can do is to be as patient as we can and to try and be as reflective as we can. Reaction is going to be easy to attain this next month. Thank you.